right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 214, and this is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on with the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. YouTube.com/PS This Is Awesome. Go visit us on Twitter at PS This Is Awesome. If you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PSN, you can find me at Anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at JakeSaw01. And as always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. Most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Make sure you leave comments, rate the podcast as you see fit. And as a reminder, this is a video podcast as well. And you can watch the show if you prefer over at our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to that. And for new and or long-time listeners, we now have a Patreon where you can support the show at a $1 level called the one and only $1 Club. Head over to www.patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome to become a $1 patron, get a free die-cut vinyl sticker, and a shout-out on our show. And I just want to also add that we do appreciate our patrons, and I think you guys are holding us accountable, even if you don't mean to. The fact that we have people donating $1 a month to our show just kind of ensures that the wheels keep rolling forward. So thank you for that. And we'll gladly take anybody else's money if you want to do that. But yeah, with that out of the way, Jake, how are you doing?
We were talking about it before the show. I'm a little sluggish this morning, but I'm waking up. I got a little bit of coffee, had some breakfast. I'm ready to go. I wanted to get this kind of out of the way so I could relax the rest of the day, but that doesn't mean I won't try to bring it on the show.
Oh, I'm bringing it today, buddy. I am jazzed. Well, it's funny because we played a gig last night, and you were like, "Yo, dude, if we're gonna do the podcast," and the first thing I'll say is, there's no if anymore when we do the podcast. But
I just meant if we were gonna get it out this weekend,
right? Because we have been delayed in the past. But I will say, you were like, "Yeah, let's just do. We're gonna have to do it in the morning," and you're like, "But just not as early as last time." So I was up at 6:30 just naturally, and I did all the notes then. I was thankful that they got done early. And then, time.
What did you sleep, like 5 hours?
Probably. Yeah. I don't know. I went to Sheets after the show, and I got myself.
They do say that as you get older, you don't need to sleep as much.
I'm fucking old as shit, man. Yeah. Old as dirt. Dirt. But no, I just thought it was funny because I texted you once, and then I didn't get anything back. And then how my mind works, I'm like, oh man, what if they got in an accident or something last night? And I'm like, I haven't heard from Jake. It's weird. It's like 10:30. And he said he wanted to do it in the morning. So I'm like, all right. I think I sent another message. And then you're like, dude, I'm just getting out of bed. It was like 11 o'clock. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to him? Like,
I never get up that late.
I didn't think you drank that much at the show.
No, I'm not. That's the thing is because Sarah was asking me about that too. Like, I'm not hungover at all. Like, I had 4 beers over the course of 4 hours. And then after we left there, it was probably 3.5 hours before we went to bed.
Yeah.
So it was like, at that point, it was all out of my system. And I was drinking water the whole time. I think it was just that, combination of 2 weeks straight traveling with work. I've been playing a bunch of hockey. We did that show last night.
Yeah.
So I was out late Friday night because of hockey after traveling all week. And then last night we were out late because of playing a show. I think I'm just tired.
Yeah.
Just exhausted.
No,
physically.
That makes sense. And the place we played last night, we've talked about it before on the show, but it'll suck the soul out of you when you play music there. So it makes you extra tired. But yeah, so I'm excited because, well, first off, I mentioned this to you at the concert, Cursed City. I talked about it on the show briefly. The miniatures need to be assembled for this game. No glue required. They're snap fit. Some of these miniatures that I'm putting together, I don't know what kind of genius it takes to figure out how to create these pieces that fit together. I mean, the miniatures are no bigger than the size of my thumb or your thumb or whatever, but there's 3 or 4 little pieces you have to clip off with hobby shears, and I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to turn into a figure. And then I follow the diagram and I start snapping it together, and by the time I'm done, it looks awesome. And I'm just like, I like the pieces are like, okay, your back left leg and a weapon coming off of it. And then another piece is like just like part of like the torso. And then a third piece is like, you know, I don't know, part of your arm connected to like your neck. And then the fourth piece is like this little mini head. And when you put it all together, it wraps around and it comes through and it goes. I guess they do it that way. It's kind of annoying, and I don't know if it's part of like the fun that like some of these board gamers like to do. It's not fun for me to sit there and assemble all the stuff and clip all the shit because my time is so limited. But when they're assembled, I feel like a little bit of like, oh yeah, all right, cool, put that together, we're good, on to the next. But I don't really like to set aside time to do it. But what's interesting is I'm just trying to think about the logical reason why they don't just come packaged. Number one, it takes up less space to just put them on sprues, like an old like model car kit or something, right? And you have all these little pieces on sprues, and just make them fucking put it together. Make the buyer put it together, and then we'll sell it as like a fun thing, like a Lego project or something. But then like
it has to be cheaper for them to mold it that way.
I don't
like
know
in
because
like
you got to pay a designer to design that stuff, like. So that it can be pulled apart. You'd think it'd be easier to do a 3D design that didn't have to break apart in a way that could be put on sprues. I mean, like, it's ridiculous.
But it could be that the packaging is cheaper if you make it like that, because you can put everything in a smaller box. You don't have to have like these specialized trays to hold the miniatures and all this stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'm literally just pulling shit out of my butt.
And then they're not solid, right? Because the pieces aren't solid, so you're saving plastic, I guess, in that regard. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems to me like from a very non 3-dimensional brain when it comes to art, like I can't even fathom making these miniatures the way they make them. Like I would love to see the process. Like do they make them and then do they cut them apart and figure out how they're going to like piece them together and put them on the sprues, or do they just like, oh yeah, I'm going to design like the leg connected to an elbow and then we're going to work around that and make the next piece? Surely they're all designed as one piece and then someone figures out like how to cut them.
I'm sure.
I don't know. It's just so wild. So on top of that, Jake, I have talked at length on the show. For longtime listeners, you guys know there's a book series by Joe Deaver and it's called Lone Wolf. It keeps coming up, and they had a game based on it. There's actually an RPG game based on it. I've told the story a long time ago, and I thought it was an endearing story. Joe unfortunately passed away from cancer, semi-young, and his son had taken over the project and tried to complete the book series, you know. And this is a very lore-driven world that he's built, and the unfortunate thing with this is the publishing rights were just littered across different book publishing companies. So book like 17 through 19 or 17 through 15 or whatever, it's like 23. They were with different places. They were all segmented, and these publishers just quit publishing it. So it became like people who were into the series who didn't have like book 19, that you have to go in the aftermarket, and it would just like, it became incredibly expensive to find these books and complete your collection, which was a real shame because they're really good. And the son took over and is working with the original illustrator, and they had been continuing the story, right? And they've been releasing new books up through, I think, the final book, which Joe had left notes for his son, how he wanted the whole thing to wrap up. So he's working with writers and different people, and the fans actually, he's working with the fans to come up with a proper finale to this 30-book series. And he actually got the publishing rights back, and he's working with the original illustrator, and they're releasing now, they're calling the definitive editions. And books 1 through 3 just showed up today in the mail, and they're awesome. Like have you ever seen those books? They're hardback. They come with full color maps. Like the later ones that he's been publishing since his father died, they're going to match those. But we're going to get 1 through fucking 26 or something now you know, so the books that you couldn't find, there's still like 3 or 4 missing from my collection that like to get them online, you're going to pay like fucking $200 for a book, and I'm not going to do it. So they've created a way for me to get all of them now, which is awesome. Just going to have to wait it out till they're published and put out. But what's really cool about it is with Choose Your Own Adventures, like it's like you read it's like a straight RPG. There's inventory management. There's there is some insta-death situations in some of these books which really piss you off. So, like, as I'm keeping my character sheet and tracking all this shit and going through this crazy world, having my own personalized experience with my version of who Lone Wolf is, right? Like the main guy, I will jot down the passage that I'm on before I flip the book to the new passage in case it's an insta-death. So what they did with these definitive editions, I just opened the first book to look at it. It has built-in like bookmarks. They're like little strands of cloth that come out of it. But they gave you 2, I think, for that reason, so that you don't get fucked on your decision and you don't want to have to reread the whole book. What a thoughtful little thing that I think that video gamers could appreciate. It's probably equivalent to like something like autosave, right? But it's like in the book thing, so like I can just go back and I don't have to. What passage was it? Like 232? Was it 236? Where was I? And then you have to fucking leaf back and try to figure out where the fuck you were, and like it's immersion breaking. So the fact that they give you the bookmark is awesome. You 2 bookmarks in every book. Just these little cloth things. Looks like an old like tome or something that you would find on like a wizard shelf. It has like these fucking dangly bookmarks. It's so awesome. Anyway, I'm super stoked on it. But we can talk about video games, Jake. That's what we're here to do today. And what we're playing, I did purchase Grand Theft Auto 5 for $10. I haven't played the single player at all, but I have got my feet wet into the online for next gen GTA 5. And it is really good. And I forgot how fun this game is. Here's the thing. I'm still not fully acclimated to how the mission selection works, and I think that in order to get like the new Dr. Dre missions and stuff that came out, I have to amass so much money and buy a certain kind of thing, and then with that you get introduced to this different lifestyle, and then online, and then that Dr. Dre mission opens up, I think. So I'm just kind of like working, doing some online events here and there. Free mode still kind of sucks, but what I will say is they put a feature in Grand Theft Auto 5 online. I don't know when it was implemented, but it's in the menu that you can turn on something essentially like to disallow friendly fire or to be killed by people in the free mode area. So like they can't take damage from you and you can't take damage from them. So that's actually awesome. So I just have that on.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I can cruise around now in free mode and not have to be worried about getting shot by like people with drones or people on like the jet skis that hover around in the air, or like getting shot by helicopters or by some assholes who just won't leave me be. So I can kind of do like the online free mode stuff and then obviously get into missions that way. I really like this game, and if anybody's listening and you are jumping into Grand Theft Auto 5 online, we did make a crew a long time ago. It's PSTA. So feel free to join the crew. I'm in there now. I'm the only person, I think. I started a motorcycle gang, but I've got no one in my gang. I'm just like...
motorcycle gang of one?
I'm a lone wolf, yes. So that's what I am. But and I think it could be really fun to roll around with some people that listen to the show.
I need to pick it up because I don't know if you've heard this, and this is really fucking bizarre. They're like, dude, they're doing some really weird shit with pricing in games now. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but Grand Theft Auto 5 for PS5 is $10.
Yeah, that's right? Why I bought it. Yeah.
So it's not $10 everywhere else. It's $20.
Oh, interesting.
So like if you want to buy Grand Theft Auto 5 on Xbox Series X,
$20.
It's $20. And I think it's the same on like PC as well. So for like the new updated version or whatever. But I'm not positive on this, but I think it's a limited time thing. Like I think if you don't buy Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStation 5 right away, it eventually will go up to $20.
I think I heard
so that. Like I'm probably going to just pick it up just to have it, because I do at some point want to go back and replay the campaign of that game because I was never able to finish it just because of the way that it glitched on me on PS3. It's amazing to me. That was 2 consoles ago was the last time I played that. And that game is still one of the best selling games every single month.
Yeah, it came out in 2013.
Crazy. It's like literally like the ultra mature Minecraft or something.
It's really bizarre.
Like, it's really, really crazy.
It's really
But I'm glad
good,
to see that you're
though.
playing it and that you like
Yeah.
it. I'd like to maybe try the online stuff again,
Dude,
but it's just
if you
when
do-
we played it the last time, it was right after GTA Online launched, and it was like the fucking Wild West.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. It was like, I mean, it wasn't even so much the Wild West as it was like the Purge. It was like everybody was just killing each other. It was insanity, and it just wasn't doing it for me, because I would be trying to, do the missions and make money so I could buy cars for my hideout and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then people are just running me over all the time.
Yeah.
Or shooting me when I'm trying to do something that's unrelated to them.
Well, what's really cool about it is they have a casino that works now there. So you can actually gamble your GTA Online money and get lucky. And
That's cool.
Yeah, I lost a bit there the other night. But I made some too. So anyway, so I'm doing that. I also have not beaten Horizon yet. That game requires an extra amount of time to get into. Like, I feel like it's easier for me to jump into GTA 5 Online and do a mission than to get involved in Horizon, because I care so much about Horizon, right? Like, I need to set aside time to do it. Where are you at on Horizon? Are you making progress?
So I'm probably right around 25 hours into Horizon. Sure. I kind of decided recently that I'm probably at some point here soon gonna start not straight up mainlining the story, but like focusing a little bit more on the story missions, as long as I'm not getting overwhelmed and have to like, you don't really have to grind in Horizon, but it does help if you take a little bit of time to upgrade your character, get more of the skill trees flushed out, get better armor, upgrade your armor. Like, it makes things a little bit easier, get better at the combat, because the combat can be challenging if you just like dive into something.
Yeah.
I just did the first mission, the first time you fight the big elephant thing.
I
don't know
just
if
did
you
that
did that.
recently. Yeah, I did that kind of recently.
Yeah. So
The bulwark and everything.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
It was real cool.
The one thing, trying to think, again, we won't stick on Horizon because we've talked about it a lot and we need to do a spoiler cast about it. But I think I feel like there are just times in the game where I just need to turn the HUD on to have it on all the time. And I think I've mentioned this before, because there's so many times in combat where just like suddenly I have 0 health and like I just don't, or like I'll think that I'm good and I'll get 1 hit and I'm dead.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, oh, I actually didn't have enough health, but the health bar wasn't on the screen and the game wasn't giving me that information. So, but I do love it. I really do like it. There's just so many games that I want to play right now. And that's what sucks, is that Horizon is such a good game, but there are so many other games that I want to try. Like, my brother he ended up picking up Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So I would like to give that a try at some point. I'm never going to probably beat it, but I would be interested in just seeing what the fuss is about. I'm also playing, because when I go out on work trips, I don't take my PS5 because I don't want to break it, but I take my little Series S console with me. And I was playing a little bit more of that, whatever the fuck the name of that game is, Wonder Labyrinth or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, long title. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really good. I'm still kind of running my way through that game. I still really like it. I do feel like the boss encounters in that game are a little bit weird and inconsistent. Like, some bosses seem like they're really hard. Some seem like they're not so hard. It seems like most of them, it's just like the strategy is generally just spam them with spells and then just avoid all of their attacks, which is fine. I mean, I'm not looking for a challenge out of this game. I just, because it's a Metroidvania, I just enjoy the experience of playing it. But I also started playing a lot more of that Infernax game,
Yeah,
which is that one I was telling you about. What's that?
The Castlevania
one. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I really recommend that everybody try this game at some point. It like I said in the last the last episode or the episode before that, it's literally like an ode to Castlevania, kind of like Shovel Knight. And it's like a Shovel Knight tier game or Cyber Shadow tier game, but in the vein of Castlevania. It's very good. I really do like it. I've been playing it. The one thing, and this was always my biggest problem playing Castlevania 2, is I struggle so much hitting the enemy. Because I don't know if you remember when you play not like the fast-paced Castlevanias, like the OG Castlevanias, whenever you'd walk, and you don't walk super fast, but you're walking, and when you would swing, he stops and then swings. So you'd, like in a regular game, you kind of get used to timing hitting someone on the fly.
It's fluid.
Whereas like in this game, you like have to wait until they're in your hitbox, and then not your hitbox, but your strike zone. And then the main character, I don't even know if he has a name, but he just stops and swings, and it just takes a little getting used to. But if you're good at the OG Castlevania games, I think that you would be good at this game. It's really cool. I love the atmosphere. I love that it has like choice and consequence in it. Like I just did this side quest in the game where there's these bandits that are they're like robbing all these people outside of town. And so someone gives you a tip that if you go to this bridge at nighttime, like you can catch the bandit doing its thing or his thing or whatever. So I go there, and the bandit's like trying to rob this old guy on the bridge. And the bandit's like, if you go away right now, I'll give you 100 gold. And then it like pops up with this screen that has like a slash down the middle of it. And on one side, it's like you, and the other side, it's the fucking bandit. And you get to choose to like let him go or fight him. And so, and there constantly, you know, there are benefits in for both of them, because if you let the guy go, you get 100 gold. But if you say, no, I'm not letting you go, and you fight him and you kill him, then the guy that and this is, I guess you could call this a minor spoiler, but the guy that you save ends up being like a merchant that has a shop at that bridge. And so he opens a shop there now, and you can go buy stuff from him. That's like cool. New armor and stuff. So like, it's pretty neat. I do really want to keep playing it. It kind of sucks that it's on my Xbox, because I like playing with the D-pad, and the D-pad is kind of hard to use on the Xbox controller, but it is, as far as I'm aware, it is on PlayStation and everything too. There's no reason not to try. I don't know what it costs, because I'm playing it on Game Pass, so it doesn't cost me anything, but other than my subscription. But yeah, it's fucking cool. That's and so cool. I really am interested in playing more of that game.
Happy to hear it, man. Yeah, I like that. I just, every time I think about Castlevania, I don't know, it's probably all the Castlevanias, but when you get hit, the sound is like, woo.
Yeah. And you get knocked back.
Yeah.
And like, it's the same. It's exactly the same in this game.
It's so funny. Anyways, let's get into the news here, Jake. It was kind of a busy week. I combed the sites, different sites, mainly Push Square, for news stories that I thought would be relevant. And I don't know if the listeners have heard, but Sony rolled out kind of a last minute, out of nowhere state of play. And I believe it was on Thursday, and it was all about Hogwarts Legacy, which is the Avalanche game. And
did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. It looks fucking awesome.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
Sarah and I watched it while I was eating my breakfast before we came up to do the podcast.
Yeah.
And she was like so excited because she's a huge Harry Potter fan. I mean, she read all the books as they were coming out when she was growing up and everything. And so she has a big history with the franchise, and they've never made a Harry Potter game like this before. One where it's like you get to experience the world and the classes and Hogwarts and all the surrounding countryside and all this. I mean, they did have Harry Potter games that were movie tie-ins, and some of them were even pretty decent. And they even had like the Lego games and stuff. But This game, like, it really does seem like they're trying to create that like authentic experience of creating a wizard and going to Harry Potter, going to Hogwarts as a student. And I think what's really cool about the game is that they're setting it like 100 years before the events of Harry Potter. So, you know, it's like in the world, you've got all the lore and all the legacy, pardon the pun, and all that stuff, but you don't have to abide by like the story arcs of the fucking movies. So it allows them to kind of like make awesome, like unique, original side quest content and main story stuff. And they can make your character matter in a way that doesn't like disrupt your opinion of the movies. But just like generally everything about it, in my opinion, I mean, you could sit there and you could say, oh, hey, some of the animations look a little janky during the cutscenes and stuff. But it's like, if that's the biggest problem with the game, otherwise it looks fucking phenomenal. I don't know if you have any opinions on it.
Yeah, I think that I was surprised how much focus they put on being a student at Hogwarts. And I guess that makes sense because it's not Harry Potter. It's Hogwarts Legacy, right? I don't know the franchise. I've watched a few of the movies. I know my brother was really, really into it growing up, and he's probably more along the line of your wife's age and maybe even younger. No, she's probably younger than him. But I know he was really into it, and he sent me a message, and he just said, Hogwarts Legacy looks fucking amazing. So there's no doubt in my mind that this game is going to sell bonkers.
A gazillion. I hope it sells a gazillion copies. And that's what you and I were talking the other day at practice about how, you know, people were saying that they weren't even going to cover this game and all that stuff because it's tied to J.K. Rowling and, you know, because of some of the comments she made about, you know, women and stuff. And it's like, I get that, like, some of the main media sites are trying to make this a thing so that they can get more clicks and views and all this stuff. But the point of the matter is that this is a Harry Potter game and it looks like a fucking amazing Harry Potter game. So it's going to sell a million gajillion copies. I hope it does, regardless of.
Well, because then if it does well, then we're going to get more, right? They'll actually support the game.
And I don't really want to talk about the politics of it, but like, I think that it's what you're talking about, like the focus on the classes and stuff. And I think that's when we say class, we mean like school, not like a weapon class.
It's almost like Persona or something like.
Yeah,
but it's Harry Potter.
I don't know that they're gonna, you know, go as far as do like a relationship system like Harry Potter or like Persona. I'm sorry, but I could see them doing something really cool where it's like you go to class and you do these challenges in class and stuff. And that's part of your leveling. Like that's how you level up and get better, at certain spells. How you learn certain things is you have to go to certain classes, and maybe they give you the option to skip classes if you want. And if you skip them, then you don't learn certain things or whatever. Like, I think that there's a lot of opportunity for them to, and I don't know. I guess I'm still kind of coming down from watching the State of Play because I watched it right before the show, but it just seems like they have the framework for the perfect Harry Potter game. Mm-hmm. And I hope that they don't just like fill it with fucking microtransactions or something stupid.
Or stupid fetch quests or stuff that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like if there's
they do have one feature that could throw a little bit of the Ubisoft stink on it, which is they have like a base building feature. I don't know if you noticed this, but it's like they call it the requirement house or it's something like that. But it's like the whole idea is that you're a fifth year student and you're coming in late. So you have to catch up with all the other students. And one of the ways that's how they kind of explain you having this special area where you can like customize it yourself to have like a place to make potions or a place to grow plants for whatever, or this or that, and you can like, you know, it looks like you can spend resources to like build a little base to kind of customize to the types of things that you want or need for your character build. And I'm totally fine with that. I think that actually seems like it could be pretty cool as long as the system isn't too complicated, which it doesn't seem like it's going to be, and that it's not one of these things where it's like, oh, you're going to build a base. Well, here's the stuff that you can do, or you can spend like all this real money to buy all these extra things for your base. Right. And in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to microtransactions, I'm okay with that because it doesn't affect the game as a whole. You can still do it. You can still play it without having to, pay any real world money. But just the fact that it's like sitting there in front of you is sort of annoying. Like, I wish you could just turn it off.
Yeah, the thing with that they got to be careful with is you have to make the in-game currency achievable so that it's not a complete slog to upgrade the base, right? So, like, sometimes if it's not balanced, then, even if, they're like, oh, yeah, you can earn, 300 blah 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 to purchase this. Well, sure, but in real life that's going to take me like 20 hours to earn that much to buy this one thing. So if they kind of strong arm you into that, then that's going to suck.
Like classic mobile game monetization strategy where it's like, you can earn the rubies or whatever if you fucking play the crossword puzzle long enough.
Devote your life,
but it's going to take you like literally 20 hours to unlock this chest piece.
And we don't know
where it's like, if you spend $5, you can have it right now. And I know that like this is a big, you have it on the list here. It's a big point of contention right now with Gran Turismo 7. And to be fair, like, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because there's no indication that they're putting any microtransactions in this game. It like based on the state of play. We're kind of,
those guys said that there's going to be microtransactions.
But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves on that front. But it seems like on games like this, you think about Ubisoft, you think about even like one of my favorite games of the newest generation, which is Immortals Phoenix Rising. Like, I love that game, but they still shove like, they have like a marketplace for real money in that game. And thankfully they don't put it in your face, but it seems like companies are now trying to find ways to put this in every game.
Well, it's in GTA,
not just free to play games, not just, multiplayer games or whatever. Like even single player games, they're looking for ways to do this. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was there, especially on a game with as big of a fan base is Harry Potter. So but that said, I am incredibly excited to try this game. The state of play said it was coming out holiday of 2022, and the developer has come out and said that they are planning on releasing this year. I mean, obviously they wouldn't put that in the trailer if they didn't believe that, but I really hope they hit it because that would be such a cool Christmas game. Like, I think that it would be a great game to play like around Christmas time. Now, for me, it might, there might be a problem or a conflict with Starfield at that point because I'm probably going to play that, but we'll have to see. Yeah, because I know Sarah really wants to play it, so we're going to probably buy it regardless, unless it comes out and like we find out that it's like, a burning pile of garbage or something like that, which I have a hard time believing. It
coming
doesn't
from
look
Avalanche,
really,
I doubt it will be.
But the thing is that there's two avalanches. So this isn't like the Mad Max avalanche. This is a different avalanche,
which was still really good.
But that doesn't mean that it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So
side note, Mad Max was awesome. Back to and again, we're not going to dive into the politics of it's not even politics, just into the moral issues of the J.K. Rowling thing. But I do want to indicate that I'm not trying to make, you indicated that some places aren't even going to talk about the game. That's their choice. Let them do what they want to do. You do you. I think we're really excited about the game. We'll talk about it. But the other thing is like, I know that there were some things that were tweeted by J.K. Rowling that were full of like vitriol, and they were evil and they were mean-spirited, and but I come from the punk rock scene where it's like you turn shit around. Like, so like my opinion is like, yeah, that shit sucks that she said, but if we now have a game that could foster an awesome community of people where we can have like-minded people there that are open to everything, and like now we just have like an awesome grounds to build a better community in the gaming world, right? So to like, and maybe she's getting some money or something, but I mean, like, a lot, like, we live in a world, and I said I'm not going to get into it. We live in a world where you can almost not purchase anything without supporting a bad person or a bad cause, and it's unfortunate. And I truly believe that it's very difficult to like live in today's world and not contribute to something terrible. I mean, like, most of us have iPhones. Most of us are buying clothing that comes from sweatshops and from underpaid workers and all that bullshit. So, I mean,
all you gotta do is think about this. You drive a car, right?
Sure.
That car is probably filled with oil that comes from Saudi Arabia, where they literally hang gay people.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's, and again, you don't want to get, but it's just, everybody just,
you do you.
Chill out.
That's all.
Chill out.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. Say what you want to say, but don't try and enforce your opinions on others.
Yeah. The game looks cool.
Not easy. It's not easy living in the world. Let people enjoy their fucking games. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Gran Turismo 7. We talked about how this is also suffering from some updates that were made. Gran Turismo 7 was review bombed. It was down to 2.5 on Metacritic last I checked. And
it's lower than that now. I was just looking at it. I think it's 2.2 now.
So the game was initially really well received, but recent changes to the in-game currency, rightfully so, probably pissed a lot of people off. But now cars in the game are almost near unobtainable for casual players unless they spend real money on the in-game currency to unlock them. And the update also threw the game servers into a coma for about 24 hours, and users couldn't even play the game when the update rolled out. And Polyphony did indicate that they're planning on adding new ways to earn in-game credits to rebalance everything so it works out, but that hasn't been implemented as of yet. So people get...
I can't believe Sony let this happen.
People get fucking money hungry. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh my God, you have like the best racing thing, and you're going to fuck with the in-game currency shit just to peel a little more off the pie. Like,
and I don't know if you saw, but some of these cars are like 40 real world dollars.
Yeah, that's insane.
To buy them.
That's insane.
For a fucking car in a video game.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Insane.
That's ridiculous.
Like, I generally think that Sony does a good job, and I think that sometimes people kind of go overboard with some of their criticisms, but this is fucking ridiculous. They shouldn't, like, the game, they got to stop, like, I think Crash Team Racing did this a while back, where it was like, they released the game to the critics give it really good scores, and then they update it with fucking microtransactions and shit. And it's like, that stuff should be in the game when it goes to reviewers.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, then the reviews are not accurate. And part of the onus, I guess, a little bit has to be on the reviewers to put in their reviews that, hey, we've reached out to Sony to see if they're putting microtransactions in the game, and they have not commented, or they've refused, or maybe they'll say, yes, we are adding them in after the game launches or whatever. Like, they need to try to communicate that to the audience. But at the same time, like, I know there's no way to quote unquote make it illegal for them to do this, but like, I mean, I'm sure there is a way, but we wouldn't want to regulate the industry like that. But to me, it seems, and I don't know if this is what they did with GT7, but like, it seems like something similar happened with the game, where it went to reviewers, they were all super happy with it, and then when it got out into the public, it, like, all of these microtransaction things were exposed after it was launched, not when it was in the review cycle. So I don't know. To me, it seems incredibly fucked up, because they're taking advantage of one of the most hardcore fan bases in the world.
Yeah, loyal fan base too.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I get that you're the top dog, but, Microsoft right now is they're selling their little Series S console, the one that I bought. They're selling like fucking gangbusters. And all it takes is for one slip up of Gran Turismo and for Microsoft to release a banging Forza Motorsport game that's just as good as Gran Turismo. Oh, and it's on Game Pass, so you don't have to pay for it. Oh, and a Series S console is $200 cheaper than a fucking PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that Microsoft is going to take the reins from Gran Turismo. I'm just saying that, like, you got to just respect the audience a little bit more because people will leave.
They're treading on very thin ice is all. They're just really taking it to a place that it's going to be hard to reel back in. And it'd be one thing to introduce microtransactions, sure. But to change how much the vehicles cost in-game with in-game currency is another thing. That's asinine.
I mean, it's one thing if you want to charge $40 for a hyper rare vehicle that nobody has, and there's some intrinsic, I don't want to say intrinsic, but there's some like perceived value of that vehicle because it's so rare. That's fine. Whatever. You know, you want to have like, I don't know, Senna's championship F1 car or something like that in there. And it costs $40 to buy it or whatever, you know? Yeah. But like, don't change the currency in game to make it harder for players to unlock vehicles. Like that, to me, that's just like, it's like it launched and they're like, oh, people aren't buying enough, so let's fucking make it harder for them to,
we're not getting enough
get shit. And it's like, oh, come on.
It's a kind of a dick move for sure. Well, Jake, as we always do when new quizzes come out, are you up for a quiz real quick on the Push Square site?
Yeah, I got time.
Let's do a Push Square quiz. Welcome to the PS This Is Awesome Patreon page. For those of you that don't know, my name is Fred Oakman.
And I'm Jake Peters.
And we're a PlayStation podcast currently in our 10th year. Our first episode aired in July of 2012, where we discussed and speculated on the arrival of the PS4. Over the years, we've used this podcast to take a break from adulting, share our love of video games, and in particular, PlayStation.
The audio podcast is available on all major streaming services, and we have recently made the leap to uploading video content and video podcasting to our YouTube channel, as well as the very occasional Twitter post or live stream. Over the years, we have covered everything from PS3 to PS Vita through the launches of PS4, PSVR, and now PS5. As our audience has grown over the years, we have decided to start this Patreon with the hopes of creating a medium in which we can give you the opportunity to help support our show.
And as a test bed, we're starting with a single tier. It's called the one and only $1 Club. So with your support at the $1 level, we're going to mail you a premium vinyl cut sticker and give you a shout out on the podcast. But at this time, unfortunately, we can only ship to the US and Canada. But this is subject to change depending on your interest.
So whether you're new to the show or you're a frequent flyer, we are forever thankful for your support and hope you can find it in your little gaming heart to join us in the one and only $1 Club. Until next time, like PlayStation, podcasting, and Patreon,
P.S. This is awesome. This is issue 5. Test your PlayStation general knowledge on the Push Square site. I like Push Square. I like to go to their quizzes and do these with Jake. So let's see. I don't even know how to open the link up. Oh, I got to click here, don't I? All right, here we go. Let's do this, Jake. I hope the listeners enjoy this little part of our thing. I think it's fun. It's a little PlayStation lore, visiting the franchise, talking what we like to talk about. First question, Jake. In what year did Sony's first State of Play air online?
If I had to guess, and maybe you have some input, I would guess 2019 because I think that's the first year that they decided not to do E3. It's either 2019 or 2018.
I was going to go 2020. I feel like State of Play is a new thing. Time travels faster when you're older, though, so...
I mean, it could be that they quit going to E3 in 2019 and then they introduced the State of Play initiative in 2020. But I thought that it started before COVID.
So for the listeners, the answers are 2017, 18, 19, and 20. Let's do 2019. Correct. Boom. 100%. Good job, Jake.
Very nice.
And now we have a picture of a character from Tales of Symphonia. He's got a red jacket on that looks like he's in a marching band. He's got swooping brown hair, a couple swords hanging off his side. They want to know, what's the name of this protagonist? Is it Isaac?
I've never played a Tales game in my life.
Is it Isaac Bartz, Robin Kells, Lloyd Irving, or Jared Bowen? All fucking terrible names.
I would literally guess Robin Kells because he's wearing red.
Let's do it. Nope. Lloyd Irving. The one I laughed at.
Name.
So stupidest name I've ever heard. Sorry if you're named Lloyd Irving. I'm listening to this. What ancient city does Nathan Drake uncover in Uncharted 2? Is it Lemuria, Atlantis, Shambhala, or Tartarus?
Shambhala, right?
Yeah, for sure. Boom. Correct. In Dragon Quest 8,
oh God,
Journey of the Cursed King, what kind of animal does the hero keep in his jacket pocket? A weasel, a robin, a mouse, or a Goliath beetle? Probably a Goliath beetle.
Why is that?
Well, because I'm guessing like he pulls out of his pocket and it grows into a Goliath beetle. It's probably like a shape-shifting thing.
I figured it was probably just like an anime thing where
like
he's just
mouse.
got like a weasel in his, or a mouse in his fucking jacket.
It's called Dragon Quest 8, Journey of the Cursed King. I'm looking at the image they have here and I don't see anything in anybody's pockets. You want to go mouse?
Sure.
Boom, correct. Jake, you're killing it. Correct, a mouse is correct. Which of these towns is not in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion? These questions are getting harder every quiz. Is it Cheydinhal, Solitude, Bruma, or Anvil?
It's Solitude. That's in Skyrim.
Damn, dude. You're going to take this all on your own. What kind of vehicle acts as Sam Fisher's base of operations in Splinter Cell Blacklist? Is it an aeroplane, a space shuttle, a warship, or a truck?
Warship? Never played Blacklist. I would guess like maybe a warship. I honestly have no idea though.
I like the idea of a warship. You would think Blacklist like an airplane though. You could like drop into targets. Warship, everything would have to be probably on the ocean somewhere. I'm gonna go aeroplane. What do you think? Warship sounds cooler. What if it's just like a fucking truck? Like I don't know. What do you want?
Guess? I've got some already. You go.
All right, I'm gonna go I'm gonna be wrong. Airplane. Ah, I'm right. Look at that shit.
Nice.
All right. Which English actor voiced Gex in the original PlayStation games? Was it Danny Dyer, Charles Dance, Leslie Phillips, or Stephen Fry?
I honestly don't know.
I bet it's Leslie Phillips.
Yeah.
Got it. Boom. It was the only female listed. I'm like, that's obviously it's going to be her. They're trying to throw us off. All right. Fallout New Vegas was primarily developed by which studio? Bethesda Game Studios, BioWare, Obsidian Entertainment, or Black Isle Studios?
Obsidian.
Let me click it here. Boom. Good job, Jake. Man, we are killing this quiz. Who is Sly Cooper's main love interest? Sophie Furs, Wolfie Malone, Chloe Ratz, or Carmelita Fox? It's Carmelita Fox. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Boom. It's our favorite PlayStation character, according to our last podcast. Our favorite hero is getting a new game, possibly. And you're like, why the fuck would you say it's our favorite hero? How many Armored Core games released on the PS2? 4, 7, 9, or 2? Armored Core. Gosh, on the PS2.
Armored Core, that was From Software before Demon Souls.
I'm going to say 4?
Sounds like a good guess. I honestly don't know. It's probably either 4 or 2, I'm guessing.
7. 7
wow.
Armored Core games. Well, folks, we missed that one.
I mean, I guess the PS2 went for a long time into the PS3 generation, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
This is actually a tricky one. You and I both played this game and beat it. I can't remember, though. In Journey, what color are the robes that you unlock after finding all of the scarf pieces? Your robe turn white, yellow, black, or blue?
For some reason, blue is sticking out to me. but
I feel like white.
I also wanted to say white. Yeah, I don't know if I got all the scarf pieces when I played. I played it one time and never played it again because it was just one of those experiences.
I'm gonna go white.
So,
I'm gonna go white.
Sure.
You have a better memory than me, though. It's probably fucking blue. All right, I'm gonna go white. Yeah, got it. Boom.
Nice.
Dude, we're killing this quiz. Which of these horse names is not an option in Ghost of Tsushima? Cage or Kage? Nobu? Raiko? Or Kaze? K-A-Z-E. I think it's K-A-Z-E. My guess. This is question 12 of 15, listeners.
I want to say Kage, but I don't remember.
I think Kage is on there. I think that's what I named my horse.
But the thing is like Kage and Kaze sound like so familiar. Like
so one of them's not right.
I would think so, but I guess I don't know.
I think Z. There aren't really a lot of Z's in Japanese language, is there?
What? just pick one.
That's right, damn it. So you could name it Kaze or Kage? That's crazy. Well, we missed it. What kind of game was the original Fortnite before it became a Battle Royale title? Was it a co-op survival game, a strategy RPG, a first-person shooter, or an arcade racer?
It was a co-op survival game.
Correct. Good job, Jake. Medal of Honor was briefly revived in 2012 with which PS3 game? I know what this is. Was it Medal of Honor Mercenary, Medal of Honor Gun for Hire, Medal of Honor Operative, or Medal of Honor Warfighter?
It was Warfighter, right?
Yeah, 100%. I rented this game and played it. Good job. Man, we've only missed 2 or maybe 3. Last question. Binary Domain is set in which futuristic city? Is it Seoul, Tokyo, Berlin, or Paris?
I couldn't even begin to tell you. I've never played this game.
I'm going Tokyo. You want to do it?
Sure, whatever.
Boom! Got it. 12 out of 15. 2 times in a row.
Which ones did we miss?
We missed 3 questions.
We missed the Armored Core one.
Mm-hmm.
We missed
no, we did get that one. We should get a job push square, it says. We missed the Armored Core, the Ghost of Tsushima.
The Tales of Symphonia one.
And the Tales of Symphonia question. Good job, though. We killed it. Let's move on to the next news point. Milan Records are releasing the soundtracks to Returnal, Ghost of Tsushima, and Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart on vinyl. And the vinyl packages look really, really cool. So if you're a record collector, feel free to check them out. Milan Records. It's just the soundtracks. I have some Last of Us vinyl, and I do like it. How often do I listen to it? Never. But I do have it, and it's in my collection, so that's cool. So yeah, little. We like to tie in music into the podcast when we can. It's a nice little tidbit of news there. So on top of that, the next game to hop on the big screen adaptation list is A Plague Tale: Innocence. The game's sequel, A Plague Tale: Requiem, is still scheduled for a release on PS5 this year. So, what's your opinion of this, Jake? Plague Tale for the listeners, right? It's the one with the rats. They take over.
Did you play this game? I can't remember.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We talked about it quite a bit on the show. So there's a bunch of rats that are carrying like a disease. It's based way back in the day. The aesthetic, the time period we discussed on the show, Jake, about how the time period isn't really visited very often in video games, and that was really part of the setting was really interesting, and the stealth mechanics of the game were pretty cool. It's about a sister and her brother, and it turns out that the brother, spoiler for a game that's really, really old, has some superpowers, and it's really cool. I think it can make a good TV adaptation, but I don't understand still why Hollywood just can't come up with their own fucking stories.
To be in all fairness, I will say this. I think that if you compare it to a lot of the other franchises that are getting, big screen adaptations to them or whatever, I think that A Plague Tale: Innocence seems like one of the ones that's the most likely to adapt easily to the big screen.
100%.
Just in the way that the story is told and the way that the gameplay works. It seems like it would lend itself very easily to like a live action movie format. It's a very concise story. There's not all these branching paths. It's not open world
Realistic
or anything
setting.
like that. Realistic setting. Like you said, with some slight supernatural component to it. But I honestly don't really have a problem with this. I think that they could make it really, really interesting. The rat mechanic it'll be kind of weird interesting how they handle that. But I don't know. I think it should be okay. This is one of the few where I'm like, oh, this is fine. It's not like what am I thinking of? Like God of War or something like that, where it's like, how are they going to adapt this?
Yeah, right.
Or like, what's the other one?
Last of Us?
No.
Uncharted was pretty wild.
No, the Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah.
It's like how do they make a fucking Twisted Metal show?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where Twisted Metal is one of those things, I guess, where it's like there's so little story in Twisted Metal that they could just kind of make whatever they want, which is interesting.
Just take the name
in its own. But
yeah, I agree.
That's all that's all I have to say, really.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it'll be probably one of the easier ones to pull off and not piss many people off. But I think it'll be fine, like you said. But I just don't understand why all of a sudden, Hollywood is like really, really biting off a lot of video game stuff, and it's just kind of weird. It is what it is.
Sonic did well. It's probably because Sonic did well.
Yeah, maybe. And Uncharted clearly did really well just recently, and someone must know something about the Last of Us TV series that they're doing, and someone probably knows that that's going to probably go over really well. But speaking of video game adaptations, Jake, and I forgot this was a thing, but the Resident Evil TV series is going to be debuting on Netflix in July, and it's going to be a completely original story set in the Resident Evil universe, which I'm actually okay with, as long as it's done okay. I guess that the new Resident Evil movie that came out kind of was shitty, from what I understand from the reviews and stuff. But I think a Netflix series might be kind of interesting, actually, if they do it right.
Did you say it was live action?
I believe it is. I don't know. I don't know if it is. I think it is. You could look it up. I don't know. But yeah, it's all I know is that it's a TV series. So yeah, there's that. And then real quick, this was exciting for me, and I didn't realize that this was even happening, or if I had heard about it, I had completely forgot about it. A new title from Supermassive Games titled The Quarry, however you want to say it. It's a hard word for me to pronounce. Sees the studio returning to its winning formula. So a trailer for the new title was shown on Thursday, and I gotta say, Jake, it looks great. But what's even better is the game is coming out June 10th, which is right around the fucking corner, 2 months. And I love it when video game developers decide to do this, and publishers. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna tease something, and then it's like, oh, like a week later, here's a trailer. Oh, the game's coming out in 2 fucking months. That is the way it should be done, folks. Like, I don't have the bandwidth in my brain to think about the next upcoming blah, 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 blah game for 2 years. Like that Star Wars game they announced at the thing that won't come out till probably 2025. Like, why are you even saying anything?
Employees, yeah.
Yeah. Why are you even saying anything? Like, just keep it mum.
I don't know.
But this is the way to do it. So the gist of this game is it's based in upstate New York, which is close to home here, kind of, which is exciting. The woods might look familiar to us a little bit. But it's a group of kids, and maybe some other information. They're at some sort of it looks like a campsite, but it looks more like a cabin that they've rented out or something. And they were supposed to be gone, but then for whatever reason, they have to stay one more night. And that is when shit breaks loose. And it's going to be a scary kind of game, and I can't fucking wait. If I might be mistaken, but I think their Supermassive does a really good job at their mocap studios and their voice acting, and their acting is just fantastic in their previous games. I believe, I'm not certain, I want to look this up, but I'm going to say it and then I'm going to confirm here in a second. Gary Sinise is in it. And he was Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. He also, I believe, was the director of Mice and Men, or maybe he was in it. He was definitely in it. I don't know if he directed it or not. I think he might have been involved, and he's like really good friends with Tom Hanks. I know that. Yeah. Gary Sinise, The Quarry, I believe. Let me see. Maybe he's not. For some reason, I thought Gary Sinise was in The Quarry. Who's the main actor? Who's the guy in The Quarry? Hold on. The Quarry video game actors. It's David Arquette. Sorry, I got my people confused. He's the guy from Scream. So that's where I got my bars crossed here. We just watched the new Scream movie here recently. And I was like, that guy looks super familiar. And I was like, that's Gary Sinise, isn't it? And for some reason, I thought it was Gary Sinise. It's David Arquette is the guy I meant. Weird two actors to mix up. Yeah, they both kind of have the same face to me in a way. Like older David Arquette kind of looks like a younger Gary Sinise to me. Anyways, I misspoke. It is David Arquette, Dewey from Scream, which is even more cool because it's like a horror game. So I'm into it. So yeah, check out the trailer. It looks good. This isn't a game you would probably buy, Jake. I loved Until Dawn. Yeah, no, I loved Until Dawn 2. Or as well. There's no Until Dawn 2. But I don't know. I just haven't. I kind of fell off of the whole, Telltale style games. I don't know what it is. I think it's just. Maybe if I get back into them, I'd be really interested again. It's hard for me to commit to playing them because it's like I have to be like, okay, I'm going to just do this from start to finish. I can't just like start playing it, do a little here, do a little there, do a little here, do a little there until I'm done with it. Like I need to like every time I sit down, do an episode or whatever, you know what I mean? Or at least try to get to some kind of a checkpoint where I'm not like losing the story in between play sessions. Yeah, fair enough. I'm so excited about this. This is something I'll probably pick up over Hogwarts Legacy, believe it or not. It's just more of my wheelhouse. It's a scary kind of game. But finally, and this kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't realize that this was coming so soon. This might give me a reason to plug the old VR headset in because I had bought Detached and I never played it. I got it on sale. But Moss Book 2 is coming out at the end of the month. I loved the first Moss. It was so good. It was endearing. The levels were awesome. Such a cool experience. So, yeah, I mean, it looks great. And I think I'm going to have to do this. I'm invested in the franchise. Like, I think it's good. Are we going to see it on VR too? I couldn't tell you. It's weird that they're releasing... I mean, they know they probably have to shit or get off the pot at this point because Sony's probably like, hey, just so you guys know, we're going to release the VR2 in the middle of the year or something. They're probably saying some shit to the developer, and they're like, well, our shit's not compatible with that. And they're like, well, you better just fucking release it now, without any build-up because there's been very little build-up for this game. It's probably ready pretty much. It's got to be ready, but there wasn't much promotion for it, and then it just shows up out of nowhere, Moss Book 2. So... Yeah, that's... It's pretty weird that they just kind of they're like dropping it, especially because the first Moss did so well. It does kind of suck that it's caught in this like limbo where the new PSVR will likely come out sometime early next year. And so I don't know. I just hope that there is like a, we'll call it like a next gen port of it or whatever when the new VR unit comes out. Because
I can tell you right now, there's no fucking way I'm hooking up my VR headset. So, but if it is available to play and I do get the new VR, then I would definitely love to check it out because I've heard nothing but good things about the first Moss.
It's really, really good. And this is a polyarc game, and you play as Quill, a mouse, and you go on this crazy journey, and it's really fun, and it's never so challenging that like you want to like quit or you get frustrated. But some of the battles are really fun. A lot of puzzle solving, platforming, done very. For the first Moss, it was done very tactfully. It was done in such a way that it was like, wow, this is a great experience. This is a great game. So I'm real excited for part 2.
Nice.
Quill is going to get a hammer, apparently, instead of just the sword. So
is it supposed to be a continuation of the story from the first one?
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's part 2. So I would hope that for VR 2, maybe they do a re-release and they give you Moss Book 1 and Book 2. That would be cool. That'd be a smart play.
That would be dope.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's get into the new games, Jake. That was pretty much the news that happened recently. March 14th, Very, Very Valet on PS5. March 15th, GTA 5 PS5. And then The Phantom Breaker Omnia came out. March 16th, The Moose Man on PS5. The Wanderer, Frankenstein's Creature on PS4. Wife Quest, which is a weird fucking title of a game. PS5, PS4. March 17th, Anno.
Yeah, what? Sorry, I got to stop you right there. Wife Quest?
That's what it's called.
That seems like... I'm not saying that it is,
Well, now we have to look at it.
A misogynistic game or anything like that. But it's like the name is just begging for bad press.
It's on Steam. It's a humorous... This is the way it's... it's probably is misogynistic. It says, in humorous and often naughty action platformer Wife Quest, you'll take the role of charismatic former warrior Mia as she sets off to battle the seductive monster girls who keep kidnapping her beloved husband.
Interesting. It sounds fine, but why did they call it Wife Quest?
Yeah, that's a terrible title.
Yeah.
They should call it like Saving Ferdinand. I think what they said.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
Ferdinand. Ferdinand's Rescue. Anyways, March 17th, Anno Mutationum, PS5, PS4, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax on PS4, and then March 18th, we're getting Burger Break on PS5, Curious Expedition 2, Donut Break on PS5, and 100 Days on PS5, PS4. So what do you think?
Well, there's all those other games below that on the next page.
Oh, God. Yeah, there are. Kowloon High School on PS4. Royal Frontier, PS5, PS4. God, so many games. St. Patrick's Day Break 2, Head-to-Head, PS4. Sleeping Guy 2 on PS5. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy, PS5, PS4. We talked about that last episode. It was on the State of Play. Trivial Pursuit Live 2, right up my alley, PS4. And then Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus, PS4. First of all, video games take a lot of fucking time and resources. Why would you put so much effort into a game and then title it Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus? ? You couldn't come up with anything better. I don't know.
Maybe they thought that that it being kind of a quirky title would draw people in. I don't know, but there's I've only heard of 3. There's fucking 20 games on this list. I've only heard of 3 of them. Grand Theft Auto 5, obviously. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, and Stranger of Paradise. Those are the only 3 games. I mean, obviously Trivial Pursuit Live, whatever. That doesn't count. But the rest of these games, it's what the fuck are these? And they're all coming out, and they all came out this past week. How many of these games are even going to sell any copies? I have no idea.
Well, here's what's interesting.
It's just kind of weird.
So with a title like that, I had no idea what the game was going to be about, right? And I went to a video game review I just found here called under flickeringmyth.com. for this game. Not a lot of people are talking about the game, but it says Wales Interactive's latest FMV thriller romp is certainly a mild improvement upon most of their recent efforts, namely Nightbook and Bloodshore. Yet despite the greater thought that's been put into its execution, it's still a wildly uneven effort. So I don't understand it. Uncle Marcus.
It's an FMV game. That's weird.
Full motion video, yeah. That's what that stands for, right?
Yeah.
So it's like real actors.
But it's weird.
It's really bizarre.
It's got
low production value, the cons. They gave it a 5 out of 10. The some of these games, like, I just want to Google and just see what the hell is this thing that we're saying on the show. Anyways, yeah. I wouldn't recommend it, but there you go. That's what it is. Well, Jake, that about concludes it for episode 214 of PS. This is awesome. It's been
this coming week we're getting on the 25th. We're getting both Ghostwire Tokyo and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands on the same day.
Did you try to play that free game we got recently?
No, I didn't, but I've been out of town, so I haven't really had an opportunity to even look at it.
What the hell is it called?
The Ghostwire Tokyo something.
Oh, you're talking about the intro to it. No, I'm talking about the other game, Ghost Runner or something. We got that PS Plus
no,
game.
I have not tried that, no.
Man, I really want to try it.
But I've heard it's really good.
I downloaded it. I haven't tried it yet. Yeah. All right, sorry. That was a sidebar. We went on a little side quest there, Jake, you and I. Yeah, we got some games coming out. You getting Ghostwire Tokyo or no?
I'm not doing shit until I'm done with Horizon.
Yeah.
So
Same
I
here.
am curious to see how well it does, and if it looks like it's a respectable game, I would like to try it. But I'm not going to go out there, and it's not a game certainly not going to buy blind.
Yeah.
I'm honestly a little bit more interested in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, to be honest with you. But we'll have to see, because I'd be interested in playing GTA 5 again. I really do want to play. I keep forgetting I have Cyberpunk installed on my PS5.
And we still got to do Mass Effect 2.
And we still got to do Mass Effect 2. So there's a lot, and all these games are like fucking really long. So I don't know.
Dude, the open world games all come at the same time. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, it's annoying.
All right. So anyways, thanks to the listeners for embarking on this joyous voyage. That's really tough to say too, with us today on the episode. And we'll be back next week. Why don't you guys all have a nice freaking week, and hopefully nice weather is abound in your areas, your respective areas. Jake and I are supposed to get a little bit of snow here today. I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be like a wintry mix. Yeah, thanks again for tuning in the podcast. It means the world to us. No music at the end of this show, and I don't have any other closing thoughts. Jake, you're good?
I'm good.
All right, so like Valkyria Chronicles, Vader Immortal, and Village. P.S.
This
This is awesome.
Awesome.